Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another movie reaction and commentary. Today, we're going to be hopping into a film called All the President's Men. Now, before we hop into this, some clarity before we get into the video. I've been on vacation for 2 weeks, so that's why I haven't been able to upload any movie watches or anything like that because I'm not working, so I decided to, just kind of let the TV shows do its thing, but we're going to be finally getting back into the movies, and today we're going to be hopping into this film. Now, I know it's October, so after these films, we're going to be doing just strictly Halloween-themed films, just like every year, basically, that we do. So again, if you want to participate in that, the poll is going to be up and running over on the Patreon, so that way we get to watch some really cool horror films. But if you're wondering what this film belongs to when it comes to genre, I'm going to assume that it's historical. Now, the reason why I said that is because previously we started a new genre, and that is just the history films, and history that can be implemented in any type of way. It doesn't have to be strictly factual history. It can be a form of history that is being abstracted into the storytelling. There could be history that is bar for bar, exactly what was detailed, and a showing representation of that. But it really is flexible when I say that. Like, think of the Northman, think of something like Dunkirk, right? Think of things like that where there's a storyline and they can be as fantastical, or they can be historically accurate with other forms meshed in between, as long as there's historical context within it. So I'm excited to jump into this and see how that what we just said is implemented here, because hopefully I get to learn something new, but I'm also excited just to see how this works itself out. I mean, I've never heard of this film, I've never seen this film. I do know that Robert Redford is in it, so I think that's really, really great. He's a great actor. So other than that, that's all I'm going off of. And if you're new here, I like going into these things as blind as I possibly can, so that way you can watch as I digest and break things down and hopefully shed some new light on a film that you might have already seen multiple times, but maybe not understanding the direction or the cinematography or why the story is as good as it is, etc., etc. So with that being said, very excited to jump back into the movies, but I'm happy to see that you guys are enjoying the TV shows as well too. Again, the best way to support this channel is by checking out the Patreon link below. You can also support by leaving a like, comment, and subscribe, and at the end of the day, you don't have to do any of those things. Just sit back, relax, get your popcorn and snacks as we hop into, All the President's Men. Again, this is the first time I'm watching this film. Didn't know it was made by Warner Bros. That's cool. Please don't copyright claim me, for the love of God. But if you want to be able to see and hear all that is said about this film, you guys know what to do. Go ahead on the Patreon. You can watch the uncut version. You can sync up your copy of the film with mine, and you should be good to go. June 1st, 1972. Yeah, we're good ways back. Any of y'all remember that time? Let me know in the comments.
Bring it gently, just off the ground.
If not, R.I.P. I'm joking.
Diplomatic Corps of Washington, all of whom are inside, waiting for him in the chamber of the House of Representatives.
Mr. Speaker, the President.
Also, if there are things just historically that I just am oblivious to, feel free to let me know in the comment section. Help me learn about it. This is a table where we can all eat.
Smiling. Ladies and gentlemen, President Nixon will, in a moment, address the Congress and the people of the United States.
Is this when he, decentralized the money system? Does this have something to do with that? Because I know that was a big deal. Probably one of the biggest deals. I'm just looking at this building, and I think it's Watergate. Is that what's happening? I don't know. I'm sorry, y'all.
See the security guard.
Are you sure you want us? 517 is closer, and they're in uniform.
They're getting gas. You take it.
They were already in uniform. Were they supposed to look like hippies undercover? This is the time where you basically can go to jail forever owning some weed.
Base 1 to Unit 1. Is there anybody there?
Yes, this is why it's important to always provide context. I know you're in a place where, you got to be wise with your verbal usage, but context is just so important here.
At $814. One 230, one 215, and one 234. Most of it was in $100 bills and in sequence.
I like this lens that they used when both characters or both people can be in focus.
I'm Bob Woodward of the Washington Post.
Markham.
Markham?
Okay. All right. I wonder if this is going to be more of a journalism or a journalistic approach to a film, especially depicting the Watergate, which I do know a little bit of, but don't know everything about. So hopefully this film can shine a light. And again, you guys can too.
For their own counsel. Only the burglars couldn't have arranged for their own counsel since they never even made a phone call.
That means other hands were at play. He's like, okay, this rabbit hole leads somewhere.
Woodward.
Woodward? It'd be a mistake to do that. I just don't have anything to say.
It's nice to see our character at equal height towards the other guy. Maybe even using a lens that helps with that. Just letting us know that he indeed has similar power to chase after this. He might not know what he's stepping into, but he's not afraid.
You're a lawyer and you're here.
One of the defendants, Mr. Barker, and I met at a social occasion.
Also, is Robert Redford like the father of Brad Pitt and Owen Wilson? Is that what I'm putting together right now?
Where?
CIA. Sturgis, Frank A., salvage operator.
Holy shit.
He's like, yo, this is actually bigger than I thought. What the hell is going on here?
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the number?
456-1414.
I love how he gets a code that can maybe include the White House, and he's just like, okay, time to call them directly. I love it.
On his wall. Caption reads, "When you got him by the balls, their hearts and minds will follow."
That's crazy. That is a crazy thing to just have quoted after your name. And it's even crazier that you're like hinted at being the second most powerful person in America besides the president. It's a little insane.
Comment.
You right now, good God.
This is Bob Woodward of the Washington Post. I was told that you had worked with a Mr. Howard Hunt.
I like that our character, like this is our character we get to have the flow of information through.
Certainly it comes as no surprise to you that Howard was with the CIA.
No surprise at all.
Hunt worked for the CIA.
Man, the way he was able to just clock in different details and put them all together into like his own little sketchbook is pretty entertaining. I'm not gonna lie.
I simply asked what were Hunt's duties at the White House. They volunteered he was innocent when nobody asked if he was guilty.
That's usually a red flag. That's usually a red flag for, yeah, we're probably guilty of that.
Yes, I'm not looking for a fight. I'm not looking for a fight either. I'm just aware of the fact that you've only been here 9 months. What does that got to do with it?
I know, right? That's some petty sneak dissing right there. Damn, okay.
I think mine's better, but you go ahead and read it. If you think yours is better, we'll give yours to the desk. I've got Colson's name up front. He was a White House consultant and nobody knows it.
I feel like these two could actually be really good together, you know? And I'm happy that a character is willing to agree that his is better. That makes for great teamwork. And he's like, okay, well, here you go. Here's the rest of my work. I don't mind what you did. I mind the way you did it. That's great. Man, that sound of the typewriter, good lord. That's a great sound, isn't it?
Oh.
The truth is, I don't know any Mr. Hunt.
No, well, that's not weird at all. Now you don't know of any Mr. Hunt?
Libraries.
Hunt also took out books from the Library of Congress, but what's more important is that somebody got to her in that space of
How do you know
lives.
somebody got to
Because she said that Huntgate had a lot.
I love that these scenes allow breathing room, you know what I'm saying? Even though they're talking over one another. I like that these are longer takes.
I'm not sure you want them, but I got them.
Of course, a brother got to hell, yep. Receipts, brother. Receipts. We have them all here. So we are already diving into what can be considered a giant ocean within a puddle. And our two characters here are starting to get a little bit of the depths within that puddle. We've seen movies like this, especially within detective films, even journalisms, where they depict a character stepping into something that is a lot deeper than what's originally on the surface. I love the way this shot is. This composition right here is really great. Where all the characters are lined up, waiting for anticipation as you reads the information.
Get some harder information next time.
Man just came in, sat down on the red chair and said, "You need more information." It's crazy when you hear somebody say that a shooting of a man is different than the Watergate incident. It's like, what the hell is in the Watergate incident then? What the heck is going on? Wow. Okay. That's quite the letter right there, isn't it? At least he was warning him. Saying, yo, man, do not contact me on my line ever again. It's too hot there. I really like the night photography in this film. Especially for what the context is within the story. Because there is a noir detectiveness that is innately with this film. And I think it really does enhance some of the cinematography that's here. I mean, look at this, right? Look at where these people have to meet up. They ain't gonna meet up at a coffee shop in broad daylight, right? So it's cool that the cinematography is able to really highlight that and elevate the atmosphere of suspense within the subject of this film. That's cool, man. That's so cool. Ah, man. I love how they're shooting this. I love that. I love that. I think that is so cool. That's such a great way to use an element of filmmaking within this scenario. Just someone whistling in the empty parking lot is just like unsettling.
Calls. At least 15 phone calls, and those phone calls were made as early as March 15th, which is the full 3 months before the break-in.
$89,000.
I love the setting, by the way. I love that we get these wide shots of the office, just piles of paper stacked on to one another.
I know. Who are their sources? And I even know somebody who works on the phone company.
I don't know. It's a good representation of what the Washington Post maybe once was. I'm not sure what they are now, but you can tell there's a level of integrity there, just from the environment.
All these are cashier's checks on
These are all Mexican
a
checks?
bank in Mexico City.
All these checks from Mexico?
You see?
How come? Does money originate there?
I mean, man, I gotta give it up to this guy. He definitely got that appointment in. I feel like both of our characters here just know how to, you know, push the envelope.
Tonight, health was not a factor, but the public debate over Senator Eagleton's...
Again, I love that they are using this lens, or Doppler, or whatever the heck it's called. I just can never remember it, but it's when two things are in focus. You can hear the voice coming from the TV over there. So that point of interest is in focus while our character is trying to glue things together on his front. And he's in focus. It's like almost like two worlds are about to collide, all in one scene. And that effect is particularly great for that.
Print that, our relationship will be terminated.
Sir, we don't have a relationship.
The issues of the campaign are peace.
Damn, what does that mean? What the hell does that mean? Our relationship would be terminated. It's like, sir, I don't even know you. So who's getting terminated?
Obviously, this is difficult for me. I'm caught in the middle of something, and
This scene is incredible. This is not cut yet. This has all been in one scene, and it's been closing in closer and closer. This is incredible.
Then it's our ass, isn't it? Well, we all have to go out and work for a living. Yeah. All right, here it is. National gets 8 columns, 9 for foreign.
Is that who I think it is, by the way? Is that the same actor from 2001 Space Odyssey? Because he looks familiar, and I'm pretty sure that's the guy. I'm pretty sure that's 2001 Space Odyssey.
He's on deep back now. I call him deep throat. Look, my gut.
That's crazy to call somebody deep throat when they're just in deep intelligence. That's insane. That's a wild nickname. I would hate to be called that.
Anything else?
Mm-hmm. Ooh, look at that lighting. Oh my god. Yo. I love the cinematography in this film. What on earth? It really does feel like if it was black and white, it would be a noir film.
Say something. You just over-dramatize it. She was going to give us what we want.
It was over.
What?
It was over.
I love that we can see the differences within their characters right there. One is willing to push no matter what, while the other is, a little bit more considerate about emotional connections. I mean, funny how both of that, the tail ends of that, is their greatest strengths.
I understand that there was some documents that were shredded at the committee.
Well, there's often shredding. I mean, we do that a lot.
This is like LA Noir when you could see somebody like clearly bullshitting, just sweat beating down their face. Guilty!
Uh-huh. He was carrying a ring over his...
Armpits sweating and everything.
Richard Nixon.
I truly love these parallels that they're doing here, especially with the lens that they're using. It's pretty great. And the fact that this film is making it an effort to constantly showcase that parallel.
A committee just like you who wanted to tell the truth, but some people wouldn't listen. Certain people have gone back to the prosecutors and the FBI to give
See, this character doesn't mind pushing the envelope a little bit further with people. He really doesn't mind it, where I think the other character is a little bit more emotionally aware, and that hinders him. It's a strong point when it's needed to, but it can hinder him. Whereas I think it's the opposite for this guy.
Positive that money was used for the break-in, you understand?
Yes, I do.
But people sure are worried.
Which people?
Man, this conversation is tense. It just feels that there are eyes watching them.
There's so much of it.
How much is so much?
In one 2-day period, $6 million.
God! Good Lord. $6 million in cash, man.
I think it's Magruder because at one time he was a temporary head of the committee to re-elect before Mitchell.
I don't want a cookie. We've got to get that bookkeeper to say it was Magruder.
Never get her to say anything but him.
Man, I love the lingo between these two. The energy that is just flowing between these two are just incredible.
Was it more?
There you go. We now know it was Porter, and now we know it was way more.
Is a great credit to justice in this country.
Did you know the documents had been destroyed?
No, I did not.
She was like, shut up, man. I don't want to hear all that. I don't want to hear what you're doing with tax dollars, man. Well, the documents destroyed or not.
You guys are about to write a story that says the former Attorney General, the highest-ranking law enforcement officer in this country, is a crook.
Yeah, I totally get the intimidation factor that comes with that. At some point, you have to have something be of tangible evidence. But given the state of this matter, I mean, it's sketch.
I can't do the reporting for my reporters, which means I have to trust them. And I hate trusting anybody.
I like these characters, man. They really are layered. I love it. They move in a compass of their own.
Who is now the Assistant Attorney General of Tennessee. Now, the guy told me that called me that said that Shipley was asked in the summer of 1971 by an old...
Could you imagine how it feels to be at the front running of something like this? Oh my goodness.
One incident in a campaign of sabotage that began a whole year before Watergate.
Then for the first time, the break-in makes sense.
This isn't so crazy.
It was a setup. It was a setup. They were plotting and scheming.
Being disbarred. And, I don't know what I did that was so goddamn awful.
Damn. Man, homie is cracking. He is cracking underneath that existence.
Listen, if those sinister things really happened, I don't think Dwight knew anything about them. He just did what he was told.
Told by who?
There we go. That's the question. That's the question. Told by who? Because it's clear that everybody was just doing their jobs, but someone knew.
Canceled Democratic campaign rallies. They investigated Democratic private lives. They planted spies, stole documents, and all.
He's like, man, there's only one person, if not maybe another, that can pull those strings. You know how far this goes up. Did he Batman you? He totally Batmaned you. That's really crazy. That old man Batman the crap out of you. Oh man, that paranoia is very well executed. It's scary, man. Because now you're starting to get to a point where that paranoia can be very much a reality. It's like when you're in the big ocean and you're like, ah, man, those creatures on the map starting to seem a little bit real downhill.
Please, listen. Now, if you're going to refer to that alleged conversation with Sally Aiken, you can't print that it took place in our apartment. I have a wife and a family and a dog and a cat.
I have a wife and a family and a dog and a cat.
I can't go now because he's not home yet. He may not be answering, but he might be there.
So it does go back to this man again. Here we go.
It's okay. Yeah.
Oh, you had a baby?
Yeah,
that's
right.
My
wife is a boy and girl.
Terrific.
Oh, you can go in and out of like national espionage to congratulations on your child.
Did he confirm it? Absolutely. You gotta tell Bradley.
Man, I love these shots with the camera flinging across the office right here, tracking our guy.
And that individual has denied that he ever so testified.
No sooner had Ziegler finished than the president's campaign.
That's frustrating. That's absolutely frustrating. So they got played.
Fuck it, let's stand by the boys.
Let's go. Let's go. He said, let's stand by the boys.
You'll have to find that out, won't you?
Listen, I'm tired of your chicken shit games. I don't want hints. I need to know what you know.
Say it. Say it.
U.S. intelligence community, FBI, CIA, justice.
Yo, it's everyone, man. This thing had connections with everyone.
Get out your notebook. There's more.
That's a good face to have, man. He is dumbfounded by this.
Haldeman was the fifth name to control that fund, and Sloan would have told the grand jury.
Sloan wanted to tell the grand jury.
Why didn't he?
Because nobody asked.
Nobody asked him.
Damn, the cover-up was already set, man. That's scary. You're getting ready to tell on somebody, but nobody asks you about that person. That's crazy scary. Not gonna lie.
Nothing's riding on this except the First Amendment of the Constitution, freedom of the press, and maybe the future of the country.
Yep, that's wild.
Execute the office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability,
And will, to the best of my ability, preserve.
Man, I love how this scene is just them clicking away. Them getting ready to blow up the spot.
The United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I hope they ended on this scene here. This is a powerful scene right here. There you go. Now it's in writing. I love how this is how they show us this. On all counts in massive conspiracy, bro. That is insane. Nixon approved cover-up. Wow, man. This must have been insane when it came out. Oh my goodness. Woo! Wow. All the way to the end, this film just hammered away at that information. This was great. This was really good. All right, everybody, we just got done All the President's Men, as I was hoping for, and what I was kind of confident about, not only because you guys recommended it, but because of just older films and just their unwavering ability to just tackle information and to not be afraid when it comes to digesting that information and showcasing it. This film took a form of like a noir detective film, but as a journalist, you know, and I think it is a prime example and a prime reasoning to why journalism in itself is incredibly important, especially when we're talking about history, when we're talking about historical films or just history that has happened and the documentation of that. Guys, this film and the editing, the cinematography, our two characters, and primarily those two, and how they've interacted with not just only each other, but with their leads that they went around and did. This film is packed with a lot of information, and the way they were able to disperse it and to categorize it and to give it to primarily this character and to that character, and wait for this chess piece to get to this chess piece so this information can be pertinent for this information. It's really well done, and I mean, these are films that I mean, knowing that this was originally a book makes so much sense, because it's really hard for me to kind of come to this level of, okay, this is how information is going to be siphoned, by just thinking of it through a screenplay, if that makes a lot of sense. These films just feel as though they come from a book, because there's so much context, there's so much mystery and information that is from page 1 all the way to, like, you know, page 250, right? That they come together. And I feel like sometimes with films, if you think about it from a screenwriting perspective, if this wasn't from a book, you probably wouldn't have gotten this level of detail when it came to the flow, the pacing of this film. Whereas because this was a book originally and this was transferred into a screenplay, we knew the pacing prior and we knew what was important, and therefore we can organize how information is going to open up on this chessboard, which is massively important. What I'm essentially saying is that I feel like if this wasn't a book first, then this movie would have been incredibly different, even if it did pertain to the Watergate incident. I feel like the book played such an incredibly important role when it came to the rollout of information and how that information was given. And it really leads itself into more of the filmmaking with how it was shot, how the editing was at play, the lenses that they were using to parallel certain informations, just the cinematography when it comes to the night scenes and the noir film that is given through the texture of this film. You know, I think all of that is such a beautiful wrapping for an already incredible gift that is within this this package here. And it's really awesome to see that unfold and to not get so out of pocket to where someone like me, who is aware of the incident that has happened, gets lost in the sauce. If anything, I gained a lot more information, and I'm sure you guys are going to be willing to provide information that goes a little bit deeper, or maybe that just wasn't said or within this film, which I'm definitely open for. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, and I'm curious to hear what aspect of the filmmaking stood out to you. Like I said, for me, it reminds me of the like a noir detective film through its cinematography, especially its night photography. And I'm curious to hear what other aspects of filmmaking you noticed, whether that was the editing or the costume designs or the long takes, the dialogue, the overlapping of dialogue, the imperfectness that came with the dialogue. I'm curious to hear. Let me know in the comment section below, but I hope that you guys enjoyed yourself. And as always, stay healthy and stay hydrated, because we are just getting started.
Purple jacket, pocket full of weed. Everything that I should ever need. Grab some matches cause they give them free. Just like my time. Hair pulled back in the backseat.